This episode is for the woman who has bought all the courses and joined all of the challenges. You've got at least a dozen half-built offers in your Google Drive that are never going to see the light of day, and you're still not making consistent income. Deep down, you're wondering what's wrong with you that you can't figure out this online business thing. Why can't you have a 100K launch? At this point, I know that you would settle for a 10K launch. Hell, even a 1K launch might make all of the difference in your world because you're putting out these offers and you're talking about things a little tiny bit online, not quite enough, and you're just not getting the traction that you need in order to build your sustainable business. The problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. It's that you've been trying to grow your business without a real foundation. You don't need to hustle harder. You need a structure that actually fits who you are. And for that, you know that we are going to look into your human design.
Welcome to Unjaded. This is your straight talk, shoot from the hip, wrapped in a little bit of love, human design for business podcast. We talk a lot here about clarifying your message so that you can bring in paying clients with ease. And ease is different from easy. Stick around to find out how we roll here. I'm your host, Vickie Dickson. I am a 2-4 emotional manifesting generator, light on the emotional, and I'm a quad right in human design. In real speak, I am an entrepreneur of 30 plus years. I've had every kind of business there is, and I always say that business is my love language. I can't wait to dive in with you here on the podcast.
I want to talk to you a little bit about an experience I had this week. I've actually had 3 experiences kind of like this, and they've really brought home to me the message that it really is different in the human design space. So when you use your human design to build your business with intention, and you add business strategy that you know you need in order to grow your business, you have this magical combination where everything kind of clicks into place. So I had a meeting with someone this week and they were talking about the steps to build this beta offer, which I have done with this Design to Profit membership that I've got. And of course, as a manifesting generator, I have skipped some steps. So in their view, that's a no-no and it can't be considered successful because I haven't done all of the steps. What haven't I done? I haven't talked about how much the price will go up after the founder period. And why I haven't done that is because I don't know. I'm an emotional authority in human design, which means that it's going to take time. I'm going to feel my way through it. I'm going to see what the value is here that I'm delivering and adjust accordingly as we go along. But for now, it's an opening rate of $47. And that just would not sit with this person. They couldn't grasp how if I didn't do things in exactly this way, exactly following this formula, how was it ever going to be a success? Well, I'm going to tell you that I haven't even really advertised this membership very much. I think I've done 2 or 3 days maybe in my Instagram stories, and I've sold 21 seats. So that's not nothing. And that is because I have allowed myself to work within the confines of my human design, which allows me to go way outside the confines of any business strategy that there is on the planet. So if you've been building your business like you're putting together IKEA furniture without a manual, all the Manny Gens say, hey, I know you're exhausted from trying to do all the things right and getting discouraged because you haven't gotten any traction. You don't need another quick win, another template, or another trend to follow. You need a place to root in, to figure out what actually works for you personally. And again, we're going to look at your human design for that and to build from there. But what your business really needs is a foundation. And this is what I find is lacking in the online space. That's why I'm doing it differently in Design to Profit. So the things that I'm seeing over and over again in my world are either you have an offer that you're not really sold on. So how is it going to sell if you're not even sold on it? Or the flip side of that is you have 12 offers in your Google Drive that you can't decide on, or you're putting one out this week and another one out in a couple of weeks, and then maybe we'll try this one. So nothing ever gets any traction. 2, you're probably afraid to get visible. And I get it because the online space is judgy. Oh man, I get judged every day. I have people sending messages and it takes some time to get okay with that. But the only way that you're going to go get okay with that is to actually put yourself out there and get visible. And I know that it's scary, But again, we can look into your human design and see, how do you get visible? How do you talk about your offers? I'll give you an example here. In the last round of Content by Design, I had someone I met with. I always do a reading first when people come in so that they have a good foundation to build on. And this was a mental projector. So she had just 3 centers defined. She had her head, ajna, and throat center defined. And she's a 2-4. And there was something else that I'm not remembering now about her design. But her entire design was really focused on the other. All of the gifts that she possessed were really about the other. So for her in her marketing, it wasn't a lot about focusing on her own journey. It was more about focusing on the gifts she could give to others through her business. When you look at someone like me and my design is all about my own experience and bringing that experience to life so that you can learn from it. So once you know how to do that according to your human design and how you're supposed to speak and how people are going to relate to you, it's a lot easier to get visible and to kind of put away the fear of judgment because you know that you're going to call your people to you. Number 3, maybe you're following too many competitor accounts and then you get stuck in imposter syndrome. It can look like everybody else is doing it right and you're getting it all wrong. And why can't you do it like that? And why is she doing this? And why is she doing that? It's a decent idea to follow some of your niche neighbors. But I've said this before on the podcast and I'll say it again. If you're following accounts who are making you fall into paralysis by analysis, who are making you judge yourself harshly, who are making you go into imposter syndrome, then you got to unfollow those accounts. Follow only people who you actually are learning from or being inspired by or who are sparking your creativity. If it's someone who is it may not be anything that they're doing wrong. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but if it's someone that's putting you into that space of feeling less than, you got to get rid of that. And I would also invite you to consider that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors online. There's a lot of bullshit in the online space right now. And I know that you can feel that when you're on Instagram. Start to look at things with your spidey senses awake when you're on Instagram. Start to look at things and see, does that really feel real when I read it, when I view that? Does that feel like it can be real? And I'm not saying not to trust anything, but I'm saying we gotta really be a little bit more discerning about things that we're consuming in the online space. So that's enough of that. Number 4, you can't clearly communicate what it is you do and who it is you serve. And this could be something as simple as you haven't served enough people in your space yet. Maybe you haven't had enough clients, and I am not saying you have to do one-on-one until you get good enough for group. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that the more clients you serve, the more you will see the problem that it is that you actually solve, because the same thing is going to come up over and over and over again in your world. So you got to get yourself out there, which again goes back to getting visible, having an offer that you love, and then being able to work with the people that you're here to serve. Number 5, you may feel like there's some key piece that you're missing and you're flailing around without any structure to hold you in your business. I see this a lot, partly because the online space is so noisy. So this kind of ties in with number 6, which is hiring coach after coach. And every time you start to work with someone new, you burn everything to the ground and you start from scratch. Maybe you have a new website, a new brand kit, a new offer, and you still feel like you're missing that piece. So 5 and 6 kind of go together here. This is a trap in your business. This is a trap where you keep going after something shiny and something new and somebody who knows better than you, who's going to give you all the answers. And if you just get this part done right, and there is no right, that was in air quotes, then everything will be different. And that's not how it is. In the human design space, we say that business is third line. And if you know anything about human design, you will know that third lines are the ones that have all of the trial and error. They're the ones that bump around with life and life bumps them around and they figure it out by getting it wrong before they get it right. And that's how business is too. Now, I'm not saying to never hire a coach. Definitely there are a ton of really good coaches and you may be at a place in your business where you need that. But if you're in this loop of constantly buying another course, hiring another coach, buying another course, doing a program, and you can't get off of that loop, then you probably need to back up the bus a little bit and actually get in the arena and start serving clients so that you can have the clarity that you need, even if it means going old school with your sales system. For this Designed to Profit membership that I have just launched, I'm doing a Google Doc because it's in beta. I'm not sure that it's going to be a thing for all of time. So I wasn't going to put the money or the time into creating a sales page for that. It's a Google Doc. You can do a lot old school when you just get dirty in the arena. So let's pump the brakes for a minute here, because I feel like you've bought into the lie that it's one size fits all and that somehow you're missing the formula. You may think that you should be moving faster. And I'm going to unpack something here with you that's vulnerable for me to share, but I want you to understand that you don't open the doors and have a six-figure business. It takes time to build. So I'm someone who has built 5 multi-six-figure businesses in a row, but they didn't start at 6 figures. And I think that's the piece that so often people forget. They see these shiny big brands, they see these influencers, and they think, oh my God, she's making $1 million a month. She just had a $3 million launch. Oh my God, that's so sexy. I need to do that. But what we need to do is build the foundation. That's how you grow that big number business, by starting small. In 2021, I lost $5,000 in my business. In 2022, I made about $50K. And in 2023, I was back up over the $100K mark and have been growing since, because I built the foundation. So if you've been sitting back watching my business and thinking, oh, it's all rosy, it must be so great to build these 6-figure businesses, lucky her. Yes, I'm lucky. I'm super blessed that I get to do what I do, that I get to talk to you on this podcast, that I get to love my life most days. But I haven't gotten to do that by following the trends. I've never danced on a reel. Actually, last year at the cottage, I did dance on a reel. What I thought was going to be a reel, I sent it to my daughters and they were like, no, that's not you. You can't do that. So I stay in my lane and I build my foundation. And it's not sexy and it's not shiny and it's not glittery. It has meant in the last few years, following my design, allowing myself to be in flow when the energy's not there and really work like a mofo when it is there. Setting up the things in my business that I know will stand the test of time, really getting in the arena and getting dirty with the people that I'm here to serve so that I have my hand on the pulse of what they want and need in order to build their business, and I can deliver it. And then I have the confidence that I can deliver it in my offers so they sell. So that's how I've built all of these sustainable businesses, by not following trends, by building solid from the get-go. And I would love to show you how to do that so that you can stop beating yourself up and burning yourself out, going broke, hiring coaches who offer the next shiny object. Because at the end of the day, it's not about something shiny and new. It's about building it to last from the ground up. And to that end, I've mentioned it a couple times in this episode, I have created a supportive home for you to grow your business in. Design to Profit combines human design, solid business strategy, and energetics. Inside, you get calls with me, and you have group support in between calls where we talk about all things business, all the spiritual stuff, and all the human design stuff. Our calls are divided into business calls and human design hot seat calls so that you actually have me in the room with you, and you have co-working sessions with my community manager so that you can stay on track as you go through the month. This is the support that you've been craving in your business, and I'm finally ready to offer it to you. It took my emotional authority a long-ass time to get this ready to serve you in this way. And I know that this is the answer to building your business without breaking your life. A business that is sustainable. And the investment is less than you think. The doors are open now, and there are still spots available at the founder's rate. I'm going to pop the link in the show notes for you to check out my old school Google Doc, and I would love to see you inside.